Guys, happy Thanksgiving. This is a review and informative video about 2014 F-150. It's got 7 lug axles, so it's like the, what do they call it, the 7,700 pound or the 7,700 package or something. This truck, special ordered, extended cab. Long bed. This one's got the 5.0 in it. It's got 115,000 miles. The payload on this truck is like 2,700. It's an XL. Wanted the rubber floors, but got the power package on it as well. Put this card away. Mobile office, one of them anyways. So we're gonna finish getting fuel here. It's got a drinking problem. We'll get on the road and talk a little bit more about it. Plenty of space. These back seats fold up. This truck has a strobe kit on it from Recon, so the strobes are right here. Turn them on. Camera doesn't pick them up very well, but well, during the daytime. At nighttime does better. Maybe I'll add that later. So finish getting fuel and we'll get on the road with little Joe. We started to get going here. So real quick, just to elaborate, I know the question is going to get asked is about the strobes, and it's the kits from gorecon.com, I think is their website, and I've had them in 2 different trucks, this being one of them. Have never had a problem until recently, and we're trying to get that resolved right now. Basically one of the fuses is just melting, so I don't really have any answers. All the wiring's good, everything looks good. Let this guy cross. Looks like he wants to cross, maybe? No? Okay. Get on the highway here. But this truck has been absolutely phenomenal. One of the best trucks I've ever had the pleasure of getting to spend so much time in. 115,000 miles in it. It normally gets right at 17 miles a gallon for what I do. A lot of in-town driving, highway driving, mountain driving. And this truck is literally never broke down. Engine, perfectly fine. Transmission, perfectly fine. Changed the oil every 5,000. At 80,000 miles, it needed brakes on all 4 corners. Had gotten a little past the limit just to do pads on the rears, so it needed rotors. Operator fault, but it didn't matter because when we were gonna do the brakes anyways, we were gonna upgrade them. So we upgraded the rotors and pads for a little bit more stopping power, and that definitely works well as far as getting stopped. A lot of guys try to decide between the 5.0 and the EcoBoost. And this is just my opinion, everybody has their own. The EcoBoost is a very fun get around truck. Basically, if you have a truck that you want to use as a car, EcoBoost is for you. 30 miles a gallon is what I have a couple friends and my sister have had them. And they're peppy. They are fast trucks. They are fun to drive, but you put a trailer on them, your mileage can go down pretty damn quick. And when I say down, I mean like, 10 to maybe 15. My sister lives in Wyoming, and, driving into 55-mile-an-hour winds, it's just as bad as having a trailer on. So it'd kill her mileage. That wasn't the reason she sold it. She sold it because they have 3 dogs and wanted something with that 3rd row seating for where the dogs can go, stuff them all back there and then have all their junk. So besides that, she loved the truck. It was a 2017. And then another couple buddies, same problem. Great trucks for getting around and, you know, cruising in, but as soon as you load them down, kills the mileage. Still has the power to pull it, just, you know, you sacrifice a ton of fuel doing it. And this truck, just about regardless of what you do with it, it'll get 17. Throw a load on it. A lot of what this truck does is payload. And even with, you know, I get 3,000 pounds in the bed of this truck, and it'll sag the truck down to level. Never, you know, never if the ass end dragging. It just gets it level, and that's where it sits. And you can feel it. You know, a lot of that much weight on the back of your truck, and your truck only weighs 6,000, that's a lot. But it handles it perfectly. This 7-lug suspension is excellent. If you're doing payload stuff, definitely the way to go. If you're gonna have heavy stuff on your bed, and even for, you know, some light towing. If you're even doing any serious towing, just probably ought to have a bigger truck anyways. You know, if you're towing more than 10,000 consistently, why not? This truck will do it, and it'll do it just fine. It's just, life's easier with big trucks. If you need it, and if you can afford it. Everybody's situation is different. But back to the truck. It's had 3 or 4 sets of tires on it. I can't remember now. 9 windshields. I take that back. We just replaced this windshield about 2 months ago. So this is the 10th windshield on it. It gets hit with just a lot of shit. A lot of crap on the road gets kicked up, and this truck just gets that lucky number. I had one guy in a van with a ladder rack up top, and he went over one of the big dips in the highway, kind of a violent bump there, and half the damn thing fell apart and bounced up and hit the windshield and shattered the windshield. Not the whole thing, just a big little spot of it. You know, big little big. Pretty good size. So I had to get another windshield. The first 6 months this truck was on the road, it had 2 windshields. Within its first year, it had 3. So just luck of the draw. That's the way it goes. But the truck rides great. I absolutely love this 5.0 liter engine. It's got plenty of power, especially with this 6-speed transmission. It's just a great setup. This truck is it's a workhorse. You know, it's not like my Power Strokes. You know, hook up and be pulling 30,000 GVWR down the, or not RGVW, down the highway. But this truck, for what it is basically, the way I try to describe it to people is it's basically a 3/4 ton truck with an F-150 body. So that's kind of what it's set up for. Real nice suspension, real nice axles. I think it also, I have to double check, don't quote me for sure, but I think part of the package was also a bigger transmission cooler, and I want to say it is an upgraded radiator. Don't know that for sure, can't remember what all it said. But it's 2018 now. Truck was bought at the end of 2014. Came in on a choo-choo train from, I think it was the Kentucky plant, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, it's never had a tune-up, and like I said, it's needed brakes. That is the only thing. It's still got the original battery in it, original starter. This truck, you know, starts and shuts off probably 30 times a day, and even with that, it'll spend a lot of time idling. As far as these mirrors go, I wasn't real wild about them when I first got in the truck. I was like, I don't like little mirrors, I like big mirrors with the blind spot. These mirrors, you can see everything. There is no real blind spot on this truck. It rides just so nice, so smooth. It's just, even being an XL truck, it's just comfortable. I really can't express enough just how nice of a truck this actually is. Very, very surprising. You know, being a base model F-150, I was like, well, it's gonna be good for work, be good for getting around to clients. But I love this truck, and plan to keep on just throwing more miles on it. go to get, well, company buys them, not me. But the next one we talked about doing is same truck except brand new. So it'll be a lot like that one over there. Except that one's it's a little short bed. But it'll be just like that one. Except obviously black. Gotta be black, rule number 1. And do lariat. So heated, cooled seats, a little bit nicer radio. This radio's perfect. There's really nothing wrong with it. Volume goes up, volume goes down, changes channels, and what else could you really want? Well, there's a list of things you could really want, but as far as a work truck and a mobile office, don't really need much more. Cruises at 65, quiet as can be. I've done 100 in this truck and handles it fine. You really shouldn't be driving that fast on public roads anyways, but it was just the situation. I was able to do that just to see how fast the truck would go, and got to 100, decided that was good enough, and slowed her back down. But it's not really a huge review on this truck because there's really nothing bad to say about it, which is surprising. And there's no repair bills I can tell you about, or stuff that happens at 100,000 miles or anything like that. All I can tell you about this truck, if you're thinking about one, if it's the 5.0, I would be pretty confident in it. Everything depends on how the last guy took care of it, but just very, very solid trucks. If you're wondering about the 7700 package, that 7-lug suspension with that heavy payload, for us, definitely worth it. We use the bed a lot. We have a pretty heavy payload a lot of the time, so for us it really works out great. If you're looking at one that's just got regular 6-lug suspension, and get it. There's nothing wrong with those either. So just different suspension and different ratings. So hopefully I was able to answer any of those questions you may have had in your mind about these trucks. It's literally one of the only trucks I've ever had that has never been to the shop for any catastrophic failure. Maintenance, that's it. Change the oil every 5,000. Windshields and tires, that's all this truck gets. So I'd love to do another video once it gets to 200,000 miles and see how it is. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. If you have any questions about it, put them in the comments, and I try my best to answer those. Sometimes I get a mailbox just full of comments and have a hard time getting to all of them. Anyways, hope you have a happy Thanksgiving and thankful for what you have. Don't concentrate so much on what you don't have, and whether you support troops or not, gotta be thankful for them. We wouldn't be having a day like this without them. If we lived in another country, they wouldn't be celebrating this day, especially with all the controversy around it. They just make a rule and say, well, we're not doing that no more. But like I said, think about what you have. Be appreciative of what you do have. Don't think so much about what you don't have, and try and find the good in people, even when at times it can be tough. Have a good rest of your day.